I'm excited, guys. In today's episode, what we're going to do is we're going to develop 2 new recipes, and I'm going to take you through my thinking process and which ingredients I'm choosing and for what reason. I'm going to make 2 desserts. We're going to use no refined sugars. We are using dried fruits and agave syrup and honey for sweetening, so there will be sugar in these recipes, but we always prefer to use the natural sugars instead of the refined white ones, because even though they bring a lot of sugar into the recipe still, they also bring a lot of micronutrients that are so present and all kinds of enzymes and antioxidants and things that are in there that white sugar just doesn't have. So let's get to it. We're doing one chocolatey version and one sort of herby, nutty, I don't even know yet because it isn't made yet, so I can't have a name for it yet, right? All right, let's begin. Hi folks, we're Sophie and Philippe, 2 professional chefs and regenerative farmers on a mission to empower people to grow, cook and preserve nutrient-dense, regeneratively grown, delicious food. We bring you how-to recipes, stories that bridge the gap between the land and our plates, sprinkled with a pinch of humor and lots of grit. After a wildfire burned down much of our farm and with a baby on the way, we're working hard to rebuild our lives. Join us for some honest cooking, regenerative living and fun farm-to-table courses and retreats. So step number 1 is I've decided that what I'm going to go for are these cheesecake bars, so that when we serve these for the holidays that are, ever appearing, but Christmas being the next one for us right now, we are able to serve it sort of as sliced bars. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to measure out the bottom of my long cake tin, and then I'm going to cut a piece of baking paper exactly to that size to lay in the bottom, so that when I want to take this thing out later on, it's going to be nice and simple, no sticking. Since we're making 2, I'm just marking out 2 at once. And here's the bottom once more. So this cheesecake, I'm going to call it, is going to have 2 layers. It's going to be the base layer. We're going to use nuts and dried fruits for that. So that's what I'm going to start off with. And I'm going to use the Magi mix. First, I'm going to introduce the nuts, pulse those until they're sort of roughly chopped. Then I'm going to add in the dried fruits until it becomes a paste, and I'm spreading that as a base layer in the tin. All right, so the first thing that I'm going to say about the base is that I'm going to go for about 50% nuts and 50% fruit. The fruits and nuts that I'm using I'm trying to use as many local ones as we can. So sunflower nuts is going to be the base, and I'm going to measure this in hands. So let's see what we're going to start off with here. And then I have 2 hands of moon seeds, we call them, but basically poppy seeds. 1, 2. All right. A little bit of salt. All right, so there's still some texture here, and that's important. Now we're going to add in 1 hand, well, very large hand of dates, another one. These have no pips in them, obviously. And a very large hand of raisins. And then a little surprise of aniseed. Plop. Vroom vroom. After enough pulsing, it will start to come together. You don't want to make a ball out of it, because if it's a little bit loose, it's going to be easier to spread, and then we can press it down with a spoon. I'm just going to give this a quick taste to see how this tastes. Good. Sweet, good, and aniseedy. Okay, let's move it into the bottom of the tin. I want to press it down a little bit into shape, but I don't want to make it smooth, because if I make it too smooth, then the filling will start to separate from the crust when it's done. So I want to sort of leave these holes inside that it can penetrate in there, but I also want to make sure that there's at least part of every bit touching the bottom. All right, I just gave a quick rinse to the machine, and so now we are ready for the filling. It's very straightforward. It's basically mixing this ricotta type of cheese. This is fresh cheese, Portuguese cheese. So this has a very bland, milky flavor, and we're gonna mix that with our eggs. I've got 4 eggs here. I'll weigh this out for you so that you can know how to replicate this at home. And then we're going to introduce some honey, lemon peel, very finely grated, and then some juice. We're gonna mix that all up, pour it over, pop it in the oven, and then we'll bake it at 160 degrees Celsius, Fahrenheit right below, because I don't remember by heart. And we'll see how long it takes, because we'll do a little shake test. Then 4 eggs. Sniff of salt. To elevate that flavor of the lemon and of the honey. And then we're going to grate the zest of 1 lemon. I'm gonna start with 1/4 cup of honey, and then I'll see and taste as I go. And juice of 1/2 lemon. All right. Now we're going to have our expert fine taster of the house taste this and tell us what she thinks.
Not enough sugar, not enough salt.
Okay, there we go. A bit more of everything and tell. So we're gonna add the rest of the honey then. I don't know if I should trust the sugar levels of a child, but let's just go with it. A bit more salt. Voila. Let's go again. All right, second try.
It's good.
Okay, nice. All right, let's introduce it into the cake tin. Smells very good. All right, this is ready to go into the oven now. I'm gonna put this on 160 degrees Celsius. That's this much Fahrenheit. And I'm gonna do that until it stops to have a jiggle. So that will probably be around 25 minutes in my oven, but it might be a little longer in your home oven because I have a very potent oven. So I'll tell you exactly how long it took in a minute. Next up is a sweet potato, carob and chocolate cheesecake bar. So that's a mouthful. It's gonna be a delicious mouthful by the end of this. We're gonna start off by making the chocolate carob mixture with the sweet potato. So let's plonk it all together, and then we're making a frangipane type filling. So this is about 3 cups of cooked sweet potato. You could also roast it. These are cooked. If you wash them very well, you don't even need to peel them. Then I'm gonna introduce the eggs, and I'm gonna pulse that first. Then I'm gonna add in 8 tablespoons of very high quality dark cacao powder. $340 grams of this fresh cheese. And our melted chocolate. Tempting to lick this spoon, but don't do it yet. We're gonna wipe down the edges now, and then I almost forgot to add in salt, so we're gonna add another pinch of salt in. Blitz this until it's really smooth, and then we're going to make our second element of the dish. Let's give it a taste. You want to taste it? Come on. Let's bring in the connoisseur. You have to wipe your mouth. What are you eating? It's full of crumbs. You like it? Sweet enough?
Yes.
Okay, I also think it's sweet enough. All right, this mixture has been approved by 2 people, myself and my connoisseur. So this is nice, it's sweet, but it's not too sweet. We're going to introduce a little sweet kick in the middle. And the way we're going to do that is by adding in something that resembles Frangipan, but it is not. So that is going to be a mixture of almond flour. And then we're going to add some agave syrup to that as well, to sweeten it up. And we're going to give it a nice thick layer of that in the middle. Let's put half of this already in the cake tin, because that's a satisfying feeling, just rubbing this thing flat inside the tin. That sounded weird? I'm a little weird. Let's go. So once this is done, there's 2 ways you can go with this. You can either just dollop this in with using 2 little spoons, and you don't need to make anything else dirty. Or you could roll out a cylinder, as I'm gonna do now. So I have a little bit of white flour I'm just gonna dust the bench with. I'm gonna take out my mixture. Let me just clean this up a little. Gotta look good for TV, you know. This is how you can tell that I'm not a real baker, because if you're a real pastry chef, you don't even get this thing dirty at all. And your hair is always perfect and your nails are always done. It ain't me. Sometimes I'm a little envious, I won't lie. All right, so once everything is in, the next step is to make sure that the edges are nice and clean. So you could just run your finger along, or if you want to do it with a paper cloth, that's also fine, because then you make sure that nothing burns while this is going in the oven. All right, this is going in the oven as well at 160 degrees Celsius, Fahrenheit to be found here, for about 25 to 35 minutes, probably. But we're going to do a little test when we're halfway through, because this is a test, guys. This is nothing but a big test. All right, let's bring her in. This one is still a little bit wobbly. This one to me looks good. I'm gonna take it out. Ooh, heavy and hot. So they're looking very good. And what's gonna happen now is I'm going to let them cool down here on the counter, and then I'm gonna place them in the fridge, because then they'll firm up really nicely, and then tomorrow they'll be easier for slicing and presenting, which I'm ready for now, but they are not. So see you tomorrow. Great, so these are now cold and ready to slice. The first thing to do is check if they're going to release. So you wanna make sure that they come loose very easily. Ooh, this one does. Beautiful. And actually the paper stayed inside, so let's just put it down. Voila. The baking paper. That one perfect. And if they're not completely loose, you could use a little palette knife or something to just wriggle off the edges, sort of, if you will. 1, 2, 3. There this one, you can see. Oof. Right. This one is gonna stay upright and that one is upside down. And then we're gonna slice into them. Now you could of course still decorate this ever so slightly with some white chocolate maybe, or here with some fresh fruit on top. I'm just gonna keep it nice and simple and plain. That was it for today's video. If you want to make some desserts for which you're using non-refined sugar, so that's your fruit sugars and all your whole sugars that still has some of that goodness in there, a great excuse to get something sweet into your belly. Try this at home. It's great for the holidays. I have a playlist up on some more farm-to-table cooking, which you can see over here. Or there's another video up on some other desserts that are also delicious.
That you can see here.
See you on the next one, the Farming Chefs. Peace out.